I'll round us out with a bit of a biggie that I checked out. I jumped in and played the new COD. No surprises there, but the new Call of Duty Black Ops game dropped, and that came out on Game Pass, which meant it's free if you pay for Game Pass. Sorry.
Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Xbox Game Pass.
For Game
That's
Pass,
got the
which
Game
I do.
Pass.
So I jumped in to play this. And yeah, I checked out Black Ops 6, which is, no surprise, the sixth Black Ops game in the series, and it is really good. I'm playing the campaign. I'll talk about that. I did have a quick look at the zombies, which I'm usually a big fan of, but I will get onto that at some point. At this stage, I want to get through the main campaign. I'm just over halfway through it, and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing thus far. This is developed by Treyarch and Raven Studios, but there is basically, if you look at the boot up screen for this game, it's like 20 studios are all working on this now. This is now in the big melting pot of how do we just churn these things out every year, which you think would mean that narratively and from a gameplay perspective, they've just run out of ideas, and this is just half of the course when it comes to a Call of Duty game. I'm actually, as I said, really enjoying the fact that the Black Ops series, which has always been my favorite compared to the Modern Warfare series, the last Modern Warfare 3 that was out before this got mixed reviews. I still enjoyed, but I do definitely enjoy the creativity and the fun they have with the fictionalized, sort of slightly askew history that they tell in the Black Ops games. This is set now in the early 90s, 1991. Previously, Black Ops Cold War, good game, good reviews, campaign took some swings, people liked it. This is going even harder in that direction, and that direction is Mission Impossible. It is now the Mission Impossible franchise in my mind. What they go hard on compared to you do have your big bombastic set pieces, all that kind of stuff. But I would say that's now outnumbered by the missions that you do that are all about like conversations, intel, spy work, but also doing a lot of stealth. Things that they've clunkily handled in the previous Call of Duty games. I think now they're just really enjoying going all ham with it and quite hammy, because it is really that schlocky kind of like, here's your team of ex-CIA or, you know, the narrative I'm not even going to try and explain here. Basically, you're part of a team who've been framed as part of the CIA, and you've had to go undercover or had to go dark, and you all live in now a cool rundown mansion that you get to do up in between missions, and you're uncovering a plot via big bad called Pantheon, who have set you up, and now there's a mole in the CIA. It's as forgettable as any of the other ones, but it's easy enough to follow to carry from mission to mission. And again, as I mentioned, you do a lot of it in these sort of stop downs in between the missions, which I didn't really like in Cold War. I actually completely ignored. I just run to the mission screen. Here, however, I feel like they've handled it a bit better. You do pick up stuff in the missions like cash and intel that will let you upgrade your abilities and some of your perks in the single player campaign, which feels really useful. Things like more armor, better gun stats, things like that. And so I'm actually paying a little more attention to the story in a COD game when I'm back at base, because the characters are all having little chats and I'm walking around listening to them being like, this all makes the game actually kind of more interesting.
Breaking
They
news,
hate
Gus
it.
loves story.
In a COD game, Ruby. Come on. They're famously just cutscenes. But no, here it's really good. And again, the variety is really what I've found myself drawn to in this campaign so far. As I said, Desert Ops mission, big explosions, on rails kind of moment. But as you see here, you're at a Clinton fundraiser that this mission goes on for quite a while, and Josh, please feel free to scrub forward. It does eventually lead to all-out gunplay and stuff later on, but you do get there by having to do some spy work. There's a mission in particular I want to point out here that follows up shortly after. It's a Desert Storm mission, because that was happening in the early 90s, where you follow a little single-player story for a brief moment before a whole map is given to you, and you've got almost sort of half the size of a DMZ map from Modern Warfare here that you can run around and do the main objectives, or there is a ton of stuff going on in a huge map. You can probably spend upwards of like 2 to 4 hours in this one mission, just running around enjoying these little sandbox moments that are in it. And I would say COD is now hitting its stride in this aspect of its shooter gameplay. This is far more fun for me than doing the really on rails, do it this way or die kind of mission structure that we've just done for so long in the COD games. So far, I've only encountered one mission that's this open. There have been some stealth missions earlier on where there's a couple of different pathways, but essentially you are still getting to that one objective. This mission in particular just really was like, hey, have fun, just chill out, don't rush this campaign. So of course I rushed it and did all the main parts of it, but it's there to go back to, and I appreciated all the little parts of it that were taking some creative swings. And then where I'm up to in the game now, it seems like they have decided to really take their foot off the brake and just absolutely fang it in terms of crazy sort of narrative. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a mission that I've just completed that is spooky, that is creative, that is experimenting with the parts we all love about a Black Ops game, and does so almost on par with a Remedy kind of level of creative enjoyment that I was just not expecting.
What's the fight?
Green smoke. Goes get more supplies. So unlike previous games where they occasionally have like, oh, you hallucinated some crazy stuff, like just a sort of linear experience, here there is a whole mission that just sets you up to have a wild, creative... Again, I'm sorry, I don't want to spoil it, but there is a really cool mission in there. Ben told me about. He's like, get up to that mission before you talk about this. And I really appreciate that they pointed that out because it is a very cool one. And I hope that they do stay that inventive. I'm currently tools down on a mission that's all about a casino heist. And I was just like, this is great. This is not what I expected in a Call of Duty game. And I think it's just the variety makes it such a more refreshing experience. The shooting and the everything else is essentially unchanged apart from the Omni movement, which is this new dive that lets you dive and look around 360 degrees, which feels a bit Max Payne-y and that kind of stuff. And it means you can be a little bit more headstrong into some fights because it just feels fun to dive over shit. I hear that plays a big part in the multiplayer. When I say big part, it's very hard to change a formula that's been going for a long time. But people have said it plays really well in the multiplayer. I will give that some time later on. But for now, as I said, yeah, this is just so far has yet to drop the ball. And I would say COD is at its worst now when it's its traditional on-rails bombastic moments. Those are the moments I kind of switch off and go, yeah, I know what's going to happen. But the rest of this stuff has just kind of made me sit up straight and say, I wasn't expecting this from a Call of Duty game.
How would you say it compares to the game before it? Black Ops 5?
Black Ops 5. I really liked the missions in Black Ops Cold War that were the little sandboxes. It got... Oh, no, sorry. I'm off target. That was Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
So the last Call of Duty game had those, and people were like, these are really uncreative. These are really little sandboxes that were like selling themselves as open sandboxes. I actually really liked that. So I just like this more. So in comparison to Modern Warfare 3, it's miles ahead. And I would say compared to Black Ops Cold War, I can't remember it.
Cold War was pretty disappointing to me. It was just really forgettable, and it was linear missions that were, I don't know, didn't have as... It had Robert Redford and not other strong characters. You know, Black Ops started with the whole the numbers
Woods and
Mason.
yeah.
Like it started with a little bit more of a kind of like cryptic, and I mean Black Ops is always, to your point of like it's doing creative things with what's real and what's not. That's what Black Ops has done since the first game.
Sleeper agents, hallucinogens, things that with the dance within the kind of fantasy realm of espionage.
And that's where the Cold War is. It's always been about the CIA, which is arguably more interesting from a narrative perspective than just dropping Marines into battles. And I think has proven to be the case with most of the Black Ops campaigns are more interesting, except that Modern Warfare remake. That first one back was fucking awesome.
That one they just nailed so well. You're right.
But this, look, I don't love the sandboxy stuff from Modern Warfare 3. I'm not up to it in this. I've only played the first two missions. As I've said on the show before, I only ever play the campaigns on Veteran because I want them, they're short, so I want them to go for as long as possible. And COD often has a problem of just like throwing a bunch of enemies at you that you're just in the grinder. In Veteran, like it doesn't feel interesting. It just feels like you're getting demolished.
And in a linear hallway, it always pisses me off the most because I'm just like, that's difficult, but they are just getting angles on me that they've designed. They should be better than this. Whereas, that's why I like this stuff, because it feels like I didn't choose the right angle of attack or what to do.
Totally. And maybe I'll find that I find it problematic in these broader missions, but the missions that I've played so far, because they are espionage based, not all out combat all the time based, I'm making good progress through them no matter what, because it's about stealth or reading dossiers, or you're just walking through a crowd as a civilian effectively, and that's really interesting from a COD game and from narrative and gameplay experiences. It kind of was already giving me. I think Titanfall 2 is probably still the most recent, really impressive first-person shooter campaign, and if they can learn anything from that, it's to be creative with levels, and that's what they should be doing every time.
Again, like a shooter can be like a Mario game where every level puts a new trick in your sort of toolbox, and you
Every
go,
game is Mario.
and then it goes, I can move past that, and you don't have to do it again in every other mission, kind of thing. So I think that's what they've started doing with these missions. Yeah, I played that sandbox one with a sniper rifle, hiding on the hills, being stealthy, because that's what this feels like as a style of shooter. Of course, it eventually goes, now get in this Jeep and we've like tailored this explosion experience for you. And I'm like, okay, that's still a little bit fun, but yeah, it does give you some more flexibility, which has long been needed in these series, I think.
For sure.
And yeah, so far so good, and getting good reviews across the board. So
And you've dabbled a bit with.
so that's where we'll leave that.
Yeah.
I mean, zombies has been a big part. I will probably go hard on
Do
that.
you want it back?
No,
No,
that's
not
happy.
that,
That's
not that.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Perfectly
perfectly
timed, Josh.
timed.
Well done. I mean, zombies have been a huge part of Black Ops as the tied-in mode that you could play around with. That's not the spoiler in itself. That it's basically like they are finding a way to integrate it into some aspects of the campaign, because that's long overdue. I will play some zombies and report back on that, because I really, really want to sink some time into that as well. But it looks good by all accounts.
I played a session.
It's round-based
And it's
compared to the last one was doing the open map DMZ with zombies kind of thing. So they're back to rounds, and people are saying that's good too. So yeah, I will report back when I do another Gus's Shooters with Friends. But for now, it's Gus's plays solo campaign by himself and is having a very good time.